What's up, guys? It's Mike from All Things Fish, and thanks for tuning in on this hot and sunny day. I'm currently on my way down to Omaha, Nebraska to meet up with a couple friends and possibly check out a couple fish shops. Now, I've got a couple styros of fish in the back there, some Cryptoheros, Nanaludius, a couple little groups of about 6 GVs to pass off onto some other people so that they can try their hand at them. And I'm going to pick up, for sure, a few different species and variants of fish from the guys that I'm meeting up with. Now, we might stop at a couple stores while we're down here after lunch, so who knows what'll come home with us. Hang on for the ride, and let's find out. Omaha has a lot to offer, everything from the College World Series to a pretty awesome zoo, including an Dorley Aquarium. But I've got a hankering for a burger, and there's one place you got to stop in Omaha. That's Stella's. Once I arrived in Omaha, I met up with my buddies Pete and Ward at Stella's in Omaha for one of the best burgers I've had in my life. I'm a big fan of their staple burger, which has bacon and a nice fried egg on top. And of course, we had a couple beers over some conversation about work and life, and of course, fish tanks before we went over to Pete's house and checked out some of his tanks. Now, here's a small tank he's got set up with some cories, assassin snails, Plecostomus, and some Cynodontis catfish. Again, he does a lot of breeding, not so much on the aquascape side, so don't expect anything super pretty. Over to this tank, he's got some bristlenoses in a Zis box, a variety of crypts just growing in some sand on the bottom with a basic light over the top. You'll notice a few marmocrebs crawling around, picking up the debris, detritus in the tank, a beautiful longfin brown bristlenose hanging out in a cave. He was fanning some eggs, and a nice little Pandagara just to kind of round things out. Now, he does pull eggs from this tank regularly. He also does have some fry bristlenose that survive and hang out in the tank. Then we went over into his breeding area where he's got a variety of tanks set up. In this tank here, he has some super red bristlenoses and some beautiful yellow Neocaridina shrimp. He does try to keep some of the larger bristlenoses separate. You can see he uses the egg crate for that. He provides a variety of caves using some pleco caves and some plant spikes. Again, it's just like a ceramic that you can get real cheap at a variety of different places, and those provide excellent spawning sites for his bristlenoses. Check out these awesome yellow shrimp with that beautiful golden stripe running down the back. Over to another tank, little breeder setup he's got here. Again, a bunch of ceramic caves. He's using plant spikes again in this one, and look at this awesome Wabameester bristlenose Plecostomus. Now, he does have a breeding group of these that he is pulling eggs from, and you can see he uses a tumbler for those eggs. You may notice 1 or 2 eggs with a little bit of fungus in there. Now, I talked to him about how he breeds and raises his fish. He said he does shut off the airflow to those tumblers once a day to pull out any bad or fungused eggs. Down below that tank was a tank with some long fin calico bristlenoses. Again, sand on the bottom, a different type of cave. For the most part, plecos aren't super picky about the type or shape of cave that you use, as long as it's an appropriate size, not too big, not too small. They like something that they have enough room to spawn in, but is easy to defend any potential aggressors so that they can take care of those eggs and raise those fry. Speaking of fry, here's a grow out setup that he's got with a wide variety of bristlenoses. This is a 40 breeder tank with some more ceramics that he uses to give those fish a place to hide. A few assorted leaves that he's using for tannins, which help act as an antibacterial and antifungal in the tank, as well as soften it up a little bit. Now you'll see that he's got a bunch of different types of bristlenoses in here, some browns, some albinos, And check out these snowballs, which is a bright, bright white color. It's interesting to see the snowballs right next to the albinos, so you can see the actual difference in coloration. Albinos tend to be a pale yellow or even a pale orange with red eyes, where the snowballs are actually a bright white color, and they really do stand out and look beautiful. You'll notice that he has a Swiss Tropicals breeding ring here, which is a floating ring with a fine piece of mesh on the bottom, and then a uplift tube that allows that water to move from the tank into the area with the fry and float downwards. He did say that he does prefer those a little bit over those disc breeder boxes that you'll notice in many of his tanks as well. Over to this tank, we checked out the juvies and the fry from those snowflake plecostomus, or snowball plecostomus. And this is the breeding tank he's got set up. He's got some black gravel in there to really show off those white colors. Again, a variety of ceramic caves. And we'll slide over to this side and you'll see some of his breeders. Again, these are a beautiful, beautiful fish. It was an impromptu visit over to his house, so the glass is a bit dirty. Here you can see he does use like an Indian almond or a catappa type leaf to provide some tannins, as well as give those fry, as well as the adults, something to chew on throughout the day to get some plant matter in their system. You'll notice in most of his tanks he does keep driftwood, as well as some botanicals like leaves to help with various aspects of antibacterial and antifungal properties, as well as he uses sponge filters with a single linear piston air pump to filter all of his tanks. Now, as you can see, he's doing a great job, no problems here, and I was happy to take some fish home from his fish room.
Alright, well, I'm finally home. It was a short drive, to be honest, about an hour and a half down, hour and a half back. Spent a bunch of time with some friends, hung out, acquired some new fish and shrimp. So let's take a look at what we actually got. So going down to Omaha, Nebraska today, I took with me 2 styros. Each styro had a bag of 6 Nanoluteus, so the Cryptoheris Nanoluteus, as you guys have seen in my previous videos, and I opted to trade those to some folks that I knew, that I met through, local clubs. And you know how much I stress being a member of a local club. If you're not in one, find one. If you can't find one, make one, because I promise you that there are a multitude of other people in your area that are looking for like-minded people. So let's see what we got. So I went down with 12 fish, and we'll open up the styro here, pretty good size, and let's see what's inside. So first, a trio plus a bunch of juvies of some black Moscow guppies. A Siamese algae eater. I'm not sure if you can see him in there or not. He's poking around down in here. He's going to end up in the display tank behind me. The guppies will go downstairs. Breeding project. This is kind of more for show. So the SAE will go in there. Black Moscows will go downstairs. This is a group of blue Moscow guppies. Now these aren't Hawaiian blue Moscows, but they are an excellent strain that a friend of mine over in Ames, Iowa has been working on for a couple years. So beautiful, beautiful fish. Super excited to have them. Along with those, we have an African cichlid. Actually, you guys know I'm not huge on African cichlids, but these guys couldn't pass up the opportunity on. These are Congochromis sabinae orange. In the next bag, we have some yellow Neocaridina shrimp. And these guys, they're almost my favorite. They are beautiful, beautiful fish. But there's one thing after this that I'm just super excited about. However, these guys, if you can see in there, maybe you can kind of see the color. There's one. All right. These are some full red guppies, and these are actually descendants of a Stan Schubel line, which, if you're familiar with guppies, is a fairly big deal. So these are some blondes, and they are, even in the bag, pulling them right out of the styro after driving 2 hours. Beautiful, beautiful fish. stay tuned for a follow-up video where I actually get these guys in the tanks and you can see just how awesome they are. And last, but most certainly not least, and this is, I acquired 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 varieties of, inhabitants for my tanks, right? I've got a bunch of tanks down the fish room. You guys know I've been slacking. I'm sorry. I've been slacking a little bit. But these next 2 bags are probably, they might be my favorite fish right now. Now, you guys know the Cryptoheros nanoluteus that used to live in this tank are pretty awesome. Beautiful gold color, nice cute blue eyes. But these next fish, once they color up, it's going to take them a minute to settle in, okay? But once they color up, they are going to be stunners once this 125 turns around. And that is a group of 16 Radinocentris or Natus Tiwa Creek. Now, they don't look like much right now, right? It's kind of your standard rainbow fish game, to be honest, right? So when they're stressed or when they're young, you get a bunch of gray fish. Not that exciting, right? But wait, one of these days we're going to do a follow-up video where I get these guys in this tank, and these guys are going to be stunners. This is a super uncommon rainbow fish that you don't see very often. In fact, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 people that actually offer up Radinocentris rainbow fish in the hobby, in the United States lately. And these are from Marcel out of Wisconsin. Beautiful, beautiful fish. I can't wait to get them in the 125. So I'm going to finish up this video. I'm going to get these guys acclimated to 125, then I'm going to go put the blue Moscows, the full reds, the black Moscows, the yellow Neos, the Congochromis. They're gonna hit their tanks eventually. But my number 1 priority right now is these Radinocentris. So stay tuned. Check me out next time. And we'll see just how awesome these Radinocentris Tiwa Creek are. So thanks for tuning in. This is Mike at All Things Fish. Have a great night.